Good morning, guys. We're going to go ahead and do our reading for today. So, what are we learning and doing today? Today, we will begin to write our introduction paragraph of our writing contracts. You will look at the informative writing checklist for guidance. At the end of the lesson, you and a partner will practice your reading fluency. So, remembering that you are reading your excerpt that you're going to be reading in the audiobook. If you don't have a partner, just read it to yourself a couple times, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started today. Okay, the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need your colored pencils. So remember, you need green, orange, blue, and red. So go ahead and get those colored pencils out. You will also need a pair of scissors. And in your fluency folder, you will also need one of the pieces of paper that says organizing the model. You're going to need the one that says organizing the model, the introduction paragraph. The introduction paragraph, because we're only working with the introduction paragraph. Okay, so you're going to get those guys out today. And as you get them out and you are doing it, I need you to cut those strips out. There are 4 strips on that organizing the model page. I need you to cut them out so you have 4 strips. Go ahead and pause the video right now and go ahead and cut those out for me. All right, my friends, you should now have 4 strips of paper. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our lesson, okay? All right, my friends, you should be doing this with a partner if we were in, and each one of you would have a different strip. But because we're at home, you're going to do all of them. Now that you have them kind of just 4 strips, I need you to underline, okay, which one is which. So you need to underline the one and in the correct color that is the introduction. Then I need you to color the one that is the focus statement. Then I need you to color the one that is the point 1 and one that is point 2. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to do that. So the introduction, who thinks that they know which one the introduction is? And go ahead and underline it. And that is correct. The underlined one that is red, or the introduction, is the one that has the topic sentence. Writing is an important skill because we use it to communicate with others. For example, we write letters, text, and emails to talk about and share news. That whole strip is your introduction, so that's going to be your top. Now, which one would be the focus statement? What are we focusing on? So you guys are going to be writing a reading contract. So what do you think this one is? Remember, this is green. Your focus is green. So which one do you think is going to be the green underlined sentence? Correct. In this writing contract, I have identified 2 of my most significant writing challenges and some strategies I will use to overcome those challenges. That is our focus statement. Doesn't give us any details or anything that we're doing, but that's what we're going to be focusing on. Okay, so that would be the next part of your paragraph. Okay, so then which one do you think is your point 1? That's orange, remember. Okay, point 1 is orange. Okay, so looking at your 2 that are left, which one would be your point 1 and which one is your point 2? Okay, point 1. This year I am going to focus on making sure my sentences make sense. That goes next in your paragraph. And then point 2 is and punctuating dialogue. So now it has everything. So that's going to be your focus statement. I'm going to go ahead and tape them together here real quick, just so I can hold them up. You don't have to, but I'd like to hold them up so that you can see and remind you of the order that they go in, okay? So remember that your red introduction goes first, then your focus statement, then point 1 and point 2. So that is your sample, right? This is going to be our example of what our paragraph should look like. So keep this and make sure you keep these strips inside your green folder. We'll probably use them again, okay? So we're going to go ahead and move on. Okay, so again, here are our sentences. Okay, so if you did not get to look at it, go ahead and make sure that yours looks exactly like this. All right, so our introduction paragraph, okay? So our introduction paragraph today is going to look like this, okay? I'm going to move myself here so you can see. We have to have an introduction. We have to catch the reader's attention, give background information. We have to give a focus statement. We have to have 2 points. So remember, our introduction hooks our reader. Our focus statement is what we're going to be focusing on throughout the whole writing. And then your point 1 and your point 2 is your work that you are going to be doing. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and do our learning target, okay? So here's our learning target. We will be able to write an introductory paragraph for our reading contracts, and we will be able to fluently read an excerpt of text aloud for our audiobook. So our introduction paragraph. This is the one where we're going to let the readers know what we are doing and what we are focusing on. So we're going to go ahead and work on that today. Again, we're still practicing for our audiobooks because as soon as we come back to school, we're going to go ahead and be working on those and recording our books, okay? All right. Okay, here is your end of unit assessment prompt 2. So earlier in this unit, after reading More Than Anything Else and Thank You, Mr. Falker, remember in video 1, you got to listen to Thank You, Mr. Falker. You discussed reading challenges and how to overcome them. So again, you filled out that a note catcher that had 2 reading challenges and 4 ways to overcome. So 2 to do one and 2 to do the other, okay? All right. The reading challenges that you face and strategies for overcoming them. Your reading contract will hold you accountable for working to overcome your reading challenges and will help people know how they can support you. Okay, so for the assessment at the end, which is going to be in about a week or so, you will revise your reading contract based on teacher and peer feedback in order to create a final copy. Your peer feedback will focus on linking words and phrases, while your teacher's feedback will be focused on the content of each part of your contract. Look at the feedback on your piece and use it to improve your writing. So that's what you're going to be working on. Today, this is the informative writing checklist, okay? So these are some of the things that we need to focus on. The focus of my piece shows that I understand the topic or text. I use evidence from the text to help the reader better understand my focus. I state my topic clearly and my writing stays focused. I have an introduction that gives the reader important information needed to understand the piece. I have a conclusion that restates the focus of the piece. And I group related information together to better explain my topic. So remember, we're working on our introduction, so we're definitely going to be focusing on this part of our checklist, okay? All right. Okay, this is where we are focusing first and foremost of importance, correct? Okay, then I have the introduction. So my topic is clear and I have an introduction. Those are two things we're working on. Okay, so if I bring them forward on some other things here, I use linking words to connect ideas. I use facts, definitions, and details from the text to explain my ideas. My words and sentences follow the rules of writing. My spelling, capitalization, and punctuation are correct. The words and sentences I use are appropriate for the task and purpose, and the words I use show that I am knowledgeable about this topic. Okay, so we're going to work on the words and sentence I use are appropriate for this task and purpose. Okay. So when I'm looking at, I state my topic clearly and my writing stays focused. The topic is reading challenges. Okay. So I need you to stay that what you faced and or are facing right now and the strategies that you can use to overcome them. That's what your topic is about. Your introduction will tell why writing is important. So think about that, okay? Think about some ideas of why writing should be important, okay? The words and sentences I use are appropriate for the task and purpose. So the task and purpose is a writing contract stating my writing challenges and how to overcome them. So that's all we're focused on in our writing. Okay, here are two things that I want you to see. Why is reading important and important things we read? These are some ideas you can add to this list or you can just keep it at these ones. But we all come up with different ideas, and it is really important to be trying those ideas. So, why is reading important? We learn from reading, we can do research from reading, we have new skills, we can communicate, we explore new places. Okay. Important things we read, any kind of communication, text messages, emails. Some of us get letters or notes. We read articles about important things. We love to read books. There's a lot of documents from history that we love to read. And then, of course, contracts, because that's what we're making. Okay, so these are the two things that you're going to need today. You will need your challenges and strategies note catcher. That's the one you filled out the other day that had your two challenges and your strategies that go along with them. So you'll need to pull this one up, and out of your module 1 is where we should have saved it. And then we have a reading contract, and this is what we're going to do for our reading contract. So when you click on your reading contract, it takes you to our Google Classroom because it's linked to our classroom. That way it automatically comes to Mrs. Sierra and you won't have to submit it or share it with me or anything. It automatically comes to me. So you're going to click on this. This will be your rough draft for your writing. Okay. And it will be there each day. So you're going to, have to click on here each day to get the piece, and the part will be saved. Okay. So this is for me. Okay. This is your template. Okay. Look here. Mrs. Sierra has already color coded and given you some sentence stems. Now, if you choose to change them, that is totally fine. I am not going to be sticking to this here, but I just wanted to help you out so that you knew how to form an introduction paragraph. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this and use some of the things that we used, and see you can go back over and look at different things. Because remember, we all have tabs up here on our computer, and as the things we have open, we can go flip back and forth to and not close anything down. So remember, you should have the lesson open, your reading contracts, and then your note catcher. Okay, so I have reading is an important skill because blah 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 blah. You need to fill in that blah 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 blank. Okay, you need to tell me why you think reading is an important skill. Then it says, for example. Then you need to give me an example of why reading is important. Reading can be challenging because. Why can it be challenging? What makes reading so challenging? Okay, that's the thing that's going to hook. That's our introduction in red. Then we move on to our green, which is our focus, right? It's already there for you. Okay. In this reading contract, I have identified 2 challenges and some strategies to overcome those challenges. This year, I will focus on blank and blank. So you need to have one strategy you're going to focus on, and then in blue, the second strategy you're going to focus on. Get this paragraph written. This is what you're going to fill in those blanks today. Once you close it down, it automatically saves, automatically has your name on it. I can look at them immediately. Then you're going to, when it closes down, it'll take you back to here. Do not turn it in. Do not say done. do not turn it in yet. We do not want it turned in just yet. Just keep working on it the best you can. All right, so now we're going to close that down and I'm going to go back to our lesson for the day. Okay, now responsibility. This is your responsibility. We're going to add one more thing onto our working to become effective learners. You take responsibility. That means you take ownership of your ideas, your work, your goals, and your actions. So even though Mrs. Sierra gave you some sentence stems, I want you to really think and put in the words and come up with some good ideas and good why it can be challenging, why it's important, and what we use reading for. Think about those on your own. We gave you plenty of ideas today, but try to see if we can come up on our own. And then it looks like you're going to look at your goals and self-assess. Like, I need to make sure this is done because tomorrow I'm going to be writing another paragraph. So tomorrow you don't want to be writing 2 paragraphs. You only want to be writing 1. So if you don't do your 1 today, then tomorrow is going to be harder because you need to have that second one on top of the first one finished. So making sure that you work on that, okay? Okay, now since you have done your writing, you're going to move on to your reading. So remember, you guys are reading either Nazarene Secret School or Rain School, and you each got a little excerpt. Mine is full because I haven't cut it yet, but yours is just a cut piece of paper with your excerpt on it, either numbers 1 through 11. So you're going to practice this about 3 or 4 times and get really comfortable with your reading with somebody or with nobody around. So if I'm reading my excerpt, say, and I'm going and I'm reading along and I say, Thomas arrives at the schoolyard, but there are no classrooms, there are no desks. It doesn't matter, there is a teacher. We will build our school, she says. This is our first lesson. I'm going to look over here and I'm going to look at all these different things that I should be doing right. And I'm going to think about what I did. Oh, I think my pace was a little fast. I don't think I really paused at the commas and stopped at the periods, okay? Or I didn't change my voice. I kind of just stayed the same no matter whether I was talking in dialogue or not. So I'm going to try it again. Thomas arrives at the schoolyard, but there are no classrooms. There are no desks. It doesn't matter. There is a teacher. We will build our school, she says. This is our first lesson. So as you can see, I kind of practiced and changed some of my fluency and used all of these things that I should be doing as a fluent reader to try to read it ready for the book. Because when we get back, we're going to practice it with the whole group, and then we're going to go ahead and record it. So we want to make sure that we are ready. So I hope everybody is practicing well, doing what they need to be doing. Remember, if you have any questions, you can come ask your teacher during their hours. So just keep on practicing that audiobook, and we'll be on for our teacher hours. If you have any questions, please make sure you come on and we can help you with your writing or your reading, okay? All right, my friends, have a good day and make sure that you are staying healthy and safe.